Hi everybody, I'm Sifu Albeck here with Master Krasinski. Purpose of the video today is to introduce you to our basic stretch routine. We've had a lot of good questions coming in ever since the book came out. I want to thank everybody for that. And what we're looking to do is to address those questions, give you some good key training points as well as some tips on what to avoid while you're progressing through your stretch training. It's also important to mention that your stretch program is very important to your overall development, not just in martial arts, but also with any other sports you may be training and ultimately your overall health and wellness. When you really think about it, flexibility is at the core of a lot of things. Your core strength, your endurance, your ability to get into some of those more difficult stances and to transition properly, to maintain good flow, and also just your general breathing and ability to meditate. These things all come into play, very important. And that being said, just want to welcome you to the video, and we're going to get to it.
Okay, first we're going to start off with stretch 1, sitting toe grab. Key points to focus on: keeping the knees locked to the floor, feet together, hands over the toes, keep the head up, and keep the back straight, and pull yourself to your toes, gradually getting further and further as you practice this stretch. At this point, I'd like to point out that breathing is key. You want to breathe naturally, stay as relaxed as possible, and just meditate into your stretch. We're going to kind of move through some of these stretches at a little bit quicker pace, but usually you'd like to hold each stretch at a minimum of 30 seconds without bouncing or any abrupt movements. Don't overdo it. It's all to benefit you and across the board, like Sifu Albeck mentioned earlier, so it can get you warmed up and flexible so you don't pull a muscle or hurt yourself. You stay focused. Now let's go ahead and move into stretch 2, knee to chest with ankle roll, where he's going to now release his toes. He's going to lay back. He's going to pull his knee to his chest, and he's going to roll the ankle, trying to get as full extension as possible. Take it nice and easy and slow so you get full extension. We like to roll the ankle 20 times in each direction. This is to lubricate the joints and keep everything moving as it should. And everything we do with one side of the body, we'll repeat with the other side of the body. So if you could go ahead and go to your next stretch, Sifu, with the leg extension. He's grabbing with the palm of his hand, is going to grab the center of the foot, and he's going to extend the leg upwards. Stay as flat as possible. Concentrate on breathing naturally. And just focus and meditate into your stretch and relax. Once he's done this, we're going to go ahead and move to the next stretch, which is heel to chest, where he's going to take his underhand and prop it on his heel, and right over the top of the ankle he's going to lock his fingers together and lay back and relax, pulling the foot to the chest as far as he can for the best extension. You'll feel the stretch. Concentrate on your breathing. Relax. Now from this point, he's going to change into the next stretch, which we like to call tiny leg. Go ahead and go to the next stretch. Try to keep the body as flat to the ground as possible. Trying to touch the knee to the ground. You're holding the foot. Concentrate on your breathing. And now Sifu Albek, if you can do the other side. Heel to the chest. He's going to roll the ankle both ways 20 times. Trying to get full extension. Lubricating that ankle. Keep those joints moving. Once you get your 20 rolls each way, then you're going to move to the next stretch, will be the leg extension. It's the same but exact opposite as the other side. Moving forward, we're going to go to heel to chest. Notice how he locks his fingers in place. Comfortable supporting position on the ankle. That way you're not pulling on the foot and overextending your ankle to an uncomfortable position. You want to stay relaxed. From this point, we'll go ahead and go to tiny leg. Natural breathing, relax, meditate into the stretch. You can close your eyes if you so choose, if that helps you out. All these stretches should be done first thing in the morning when you get up, and before and after every workout. No matter what sport or exercise or kung fu training you're about to indulge in, you want to make sure you're nice and loose and stretched out properly. Concentrate on that natural breathing. Now Sifu Albek, if you could sit up, let go of that stretch and sit up. And if you could for me, could you face the camera so they can see this next stretch? We're going to put the feet together. This is our groin stretch. Other people call it whatever they call it, butterfly stretch, so be it. We like to simplify things. That's why we translated everything in the book, all the Japanese to English and all the Chinese to English. Okay, now tuck your head in towards your feet. Like I said, we're not going to hold these for the full time that we usually would. We're just going to run through these so you get a good idea of what this should look like when you do it. Now, if you bring the head back up for us and straighten the back. Very good. And that should be sufficient. You can relax, loosen your legs out. There you go. And
going to place one hand on the ground and reach over his head to stretch his ribs. Notice the palm is facing upwards. You need to focus on making sure that palm is turned up. Your weight remains on your heels, and you'll hold this for 30 seconds. Again, maintain focus on your breathing, nice, relaxed, comfortable breathing. With this stretch, you'll switch immediately to the other side. And from this position, we're going to shift our weight onto the ball of the foot. This helps you with stretching out your toes and getting a bit more flexibility, which is important for other stances. From here, we're going to reach directly overhead. You're going to grab at the elbow and press the arm down. This is your shoulder stretch. Again, your weight is still on your heels. This will stretch out your knees, your upper body, and your feet. Very important stretch. And we're going to switch sides again from the same position. After this, we're going to come off of the knees and prepare for the hurdler stretch. So the right foot is out front. The left foot, you'll notice the knee is past a 90-degree angle. May take you a little time to develop this, but your goal is to be past a 90-degree angle to get the proper stretch. Your front foot straight ahead on the heel. Your back foot is pointing directly behind you, again pointed. You'll hold this for 30 seconds, and then you'll grab your front foot with your outside hand to start, your right hand here. You always want to focus on keeping your back as straight as possible and looking straight ahead. Once you've held this for 30 seconds, we're going to switch hands. The right hand will be placed on the ground. Grab with the left. And then we'll grab with both hands to finish the hurdler stretch. From here, we're going to transition into the pigeon stretch. So to do that, the front leg is going to be bent at the knee at roughly a 90-degree angle. You're going to have your foot pointing directly forward and backwards with both hands on the ground. The left hand will be next to the foot, right hand next to the knee. You want to focus on the back foot being pointed directly behind you. You don't want to bow the leg out. You want it to be directly behind you, pointing straight backwards. You're focusing on driving your hips down as far as possible into the ground and being as much in contact with the ground across the whole stretch as you possibly can. Notice he's well balanced and can even lift the hands if necessary. From here, we're going to lean forward into the flat pigeon, what we call the road pigeon. Notice he's in the same position for the lower body, leaning directly forward, hands in front, head is rested on the hands. We'll hold this for, again, 30 seconds. Maintain proper breathing. The whole time you're going through these, the most important part of your stretching is to be relaxed, comfortable, no bouncing as we've already said, and maintain proper breathing. So from here, Master Krasinski, if you could, please turn toward the camera. Let's go ahead and show them the middle splits facing the camera. Thank you. With the middle splits, again, you want to be nice and comfortable. It may take you some time to work up to this, but you want to stretch your legs out as far as possible out to the sides without too much strain. There is a difference between good pain and bad pain. When it comes to good pain, what we're really saying is a moderate discomfort based on you pushing your limits. Bad pain is essentially anything past that. You do not want to try to power through a stretch that you're not prepared for. You do need to develop over time. So pretty basic, you'll stretch your legs out, hands behind you to help press your body forward to assist in the stretch. Once you've held this again for 30 seconds, you will reach out to one side and grab the foot, looking straight ahead, back as straight as possible. You will then switch hands to the other side. And then lean forward with your hands out in front. And that's your middle split. The next stretch we'd like to show you is a very important stretch for your development. It's called the frog stretch. If we could, let's face forward again, please, Mr. Krasinski. The purpose of the frog stretch is to stretch out the hips. The hips are generally an area of concern for anybody who's working on martial arts because of the low stances. Really developing these hip flexors is something you'll be working on from the start. The frog stretch will help you get there. What he's doing is he's propping his upper body weight on the elbows with his elbows and hands on the ground in front, arching the back, looking straight ahead. The lower body, you're going to essentially be performing a middle split stretch on the ground. So the inside of the knees will be in contact with the ground, going out directly to the sides as much as possible. The knee to foot should be perfectly straight, pointing directly behind you. And you're going to press your hips into the ground as far as possible. And you'll hold this position for, again, at least 30 seconds. You'll want to work up to longer as time goes on. Just as I mentioned, this is a very important stretch. All right, and moving on.
And now Sifu Albeck will demonstrate the next stretch, which is toes overhead. He's going to lay back and then bring his both feet to where the toes touch the floor. And he's going to get nice and comfy, concentrating on his breathing. Once he's nice and comfy, he's going to hold it for 30 seconds. For our purposes today, so we can make it through a video and not make it too long, we're going to go ahead and have you raise one leg up, right leg. It's going to point straight up, point your toe straight to the ceiling. Still keeping contact with the foot on the ground. And now he's going to switch. Nice straight legs. Toe pointed. Now both toes back to the ground. And now both toes up. Hold that. Concentrating on the breathing. Alright. Now if you go ahead and pull those down, go back to the laying position. Our next stretch will be the back bend. He's going to make sure he has a good grip on the floor. Everything's nice and symmetrical and even. He's going to hold this. And then go ahead and shift to the one leg up. Keeping the leg nice and straight. There we go. Now switch. There we go. Alright, and relax. Carefully come down so you don't hurt yourself, slip your hand and hit your head on the floor or anything like that. Be cautious of all your movements. That's what part of the reason for this stretching is, to get a slow, conscious development and security to where you can perform these and without hurting yourself. so you can benefit yourself greatly. Now we're going to go to the downward dog. A lot of you yoga freaks out there will enjoy this one. Recognize it. And now he's going to shift into the upward dog. And hold it. Now notice, if you will, if he shakes, there we go. See, he's got all of his weight is on his hands and the tops of his feet. Now back up to downward dog. Concentrating on the breathing, and then shift back to the upward dog. This should be repeated 10 times at the minimum to start out with. Once you get more adjusted to it and can do it a little bit easier, and you can at will pick up the pace and do it more. Now from this stretch, what we're going to do is downward dog with leg extension. It's just like a side kick. Switch feet. Okay, and relax. Come back up to a standing position for us.
And here Master Krasinski is going to demonstrate the standing body circle. He's going to start out by getting into a horse stance, so a wide horse stance. It's nice and low, hands behind the back. You're going to be clasping hands behind the back, grabbing at the wrist with one hand. He's going to start by turning to one side and shifting his head in a circular motion all the way out, down, and through to the other side. Shifting the legs as you move. Back up into a full circle. You'll do this a minimum of 5 times to each side. For the purpose of this video, let's go ahead and, if you would, Master Krasinski, go back the other way now. Focus on getting low. You're stretching the hips, your back, and end up top, back into horse stance after this last repetition here. Back to horse. So from here, we're going to drop into the hamstring stretch. Notice that both feet are pointing directly forward. Both feet are also completely flat on the ground. You'll hold this for 30 seconds. Then you're going to pick up the toe of the outstretched leg, point it directly upward toward the ceiling, heel on the ground, back as straight as possible. If needed, you can support your weight with your hand on the ground. From there, we're going to point that outstretched toe. Hold again for 30 seconds. And once you've got that stretch, we're going to point the toes again, both forward, to finish that leg. We're then going to shift to the other side and go through the same rotation. So feet pointing forward. You'll lift the toe, point upward. Then you'll point the toe and come back forward. When you are in this stretch, your purpose is really to stretch out the hips. You're getting a deep stretch into the hamstring and into your hips. You want to sink as much as possible and make sure you breathe evenly as with every other stretch. And then come back to center